Okay, so let me show you guys. So you go into, you get to the landing page, and then you click on posts, all posts. And this is the hundreds of posts that we've made to the website. And what you're going to do is start, you may not be able to see any of these, and this may come up blank for you because the authors of these are myself and all the students, other students. So you may not see any of this stuff. But what you want to do is click on add new or add a new post. And I know I went through this before, but I'm going to show it to you again because this is what I want you to do, Sabrina. And when you guys start a post, I can come in and work in a post that you created and make some tweaks to it before it's published or even after it's published. But you guys can't come into a post that I create and tweak that or do anything with that. So I'm going to start a post for Sabrina's interviewee, Bill Prince. And I'm just going to create a title here.
Professor, what did you say to put for the username on the VPN?
The username is your, I'm not sure which part you're at. Let me just bring it up again. So are you talking about right here?
No, I did that part already.
Okay, so then for the username, just use your, you can use, I'm pretty sure you can use the first part of your email address.
Okay.
You know, whatever that is, you can put that in there. Or you might be able, and then type SMS, hit enter, and it'll send you a bunch of numbers to your phone if you've registered already. So I'm going to type Bill Prince. Oops. I don't know what happened here. Bill Prince, producer. The boys said no. And then I went through this before, but I'm just going to show you again. You go to the OneDrive account. And to student resources and materials. The reason I'm showing you is some of you are already at the place where you're ready to create your WordPress post. So you just open up this WordPress folder and there's this template in Word. It's a Word doc. And all you have to do is put your cursor in here, hit Control-A on a PC or Command-A on a Mac, then copy and paste it. Oops. So Control-C or Command-C, and then where am I? Go over to the WordPress post that you just, the new WordPress post you created, and paste it in here. So Command-V or Control-V. So this just put in all the code. And what this is a post we created for the new Deco Symphony, new Deco Ensemble, which is a really interesting orchestra. But the guys that I interviewed hated the interview, so we didn't use it. So when you go back into this, you're going to see, sorry, all this content is for them. You know, as you see, it says Introduction to New Deco Symphony, and then it's going to give some bio. Actually, if I click on the preview, it'll show you what this looks like if it was in the WordPress page. I mean, in the website. So get rid of it. You don't need to screw around with these this color palette. But you know, this is all the background material about New Deco and the two guys I interviewed. And then it's just a series of our video players with the question, which should be the exact same question that you put into your video file that you created in Adobe, the question screen for the question screen. So it comes from the video log. And then this is the success factor and the time. And again, you should copy this from the video log. And then the time is the elapsed time that you for the video. So I'm going to go back into this and start working on this for Sabrina's project. So let me pull up Sabrina's video log. I don't know why this happens, but I'm on the FIU computer. And sometimes this happens to me. It won't let me pull things up from my external hard drive. Oh, God. So I'm going to copy it over to my internal hard drive. Okay, so here it is. So, so this is the Bill Prince video log. Now, how you doing, Sabrina? Have you gotten in?
Kind of. I think it's just my internet's not cooperating.
Okay. So this is her Bill Prince a playlist. And Sabrina, if I remember correctly, you've created your entire introduction, but you don't have music yet, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to call up the introduction. And by the way, you guys should notice, some of you, I've sent you emails about this. When you put the the file names for each one of these video clips you create, do not use all caps. So in this case, Sabrina has done introduction to Bill Prince, uppercase, lowercase, okay? So I'm just going to, actually, I'll play this for you because it's, so you'll see what it is. So Sabrina grabbed images from different movies about Vietnam, like Apocalypse Now and Good Morning Vietnam. That's actually Robin Williams, I think, in the blue shirt, and Platoon. And she captured images where you can't see any of the stars in it. You don't know exactly where it's from. And so that was kind of fair game, and she mixed them all together. And then these are images from the movie that Bill Prince produced. So she's contrasting the actual war against images of people protesting the war and burning their draft cards. And being carried off by the FBI, probably. That's one of the stars of the movie, David Harris, who's in handcuffs. Why he's grinning, we'll never know.
My name is Bill Prince. I'm 67 years old. I live in San Francisco.
By the way, I just noticed, Sabrina, that Bill Prince, where you have film producer, that should be in caps for the initial caps for the film producer.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the introduction. So I'm gonna copy it. I just clicked on share. You just copy the URL. So just, I don't try to do anything in here. Just click on copy. And then you go back to your WordPress post. Click on the first video. Click on the little pencil to edit it. And then you paste the URL into here. So I'm going to hit Control V or Command V on a Mac. And right away, you'll see the little thumbnail come up for the video. And then down here, click insert into post. Okay, so that's the introduction. And then down here, all you have to do is edit this like you would anything else, but just make sure that you don't screw around with the words in brackets, because that's the code. So in this case, box type equals shadow, and the box at the end, that's telling telling the web page to make a caption box. So in this case, it's going to be introduction to Bill Prince. And you know what's, this is kind of interesting. What's come up a lot, I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but I was watching a panel discussion at Sundance Film Festival that one of my friends was in, that I did a video interview with. Her name's Katja Essen, and she had made a new film called Raising Liberty Square. And she was part of a panel discussion that had other Liberty City connections. So one was, the guy's name is, his last name's McCraney. I can't think of his first name, but he's the screenwriter for Moonlight. And there was another woman who had also done a film about Liberty City. And there was a panelist, a host of the panel. And so I typed in the chat room that about the book written by Janella McLeod, that Kevin is editing our interview with Janella McLeod. And that book is about Miami Times, which is a Black newspaper that's over 100 years old. And so in the chat room at one point, I typed, have any of you read the book about Miami Times written by Janella McLeod? And the host of the panel discussion started talking. She said, yes, Dr. McLeod is a friend of mine, and I've read the book and it's excellent. And as soon as she said Dr. McLeod, I realized, oh, how stupid of me. This is just like the situation that we just went through with Jill Biden, where there were some people mocking her for using Dr. Jill Biden, even though she has earned her PhD, and they were mocking her because she said she's not a medical doctor. And there was, depending on whether it was a liberal newspaper like the New York Times or something conservative, people were on both sides of the issue. But I realized that if you've gone through all the trouble to earn your PhD, that there's a sensitivity for some people as to whether or not they're called doctor or not. So I sent an email to Janelle McLeod over the weekend and asked her, actually, I'll show you the email. It's kind of interesting. I asked her, what do you want to be called? And I explained to her what happened. And so should we be in the file name, should it be in Janella McLeod 1, Janella McLeod 2, or Dr. Janella McLeod? And she just responded at first, Dr. Janella McLeod works. Thank you. And then I told her the story I just told you about the panel discussion. And her response was that earning that PhD was one of the hardest things I have ever done in my life, because among other things, she's got at least one kid. I can't remember if she's got more. It took me, she might be a single parent too. It took me 12 years and almost killed me, LOL. I typically only use the doctor handle when it's related to my academic work or in a professional setting. I think using it with your interview helps lend credibility to my book and brand. So I think that's really interesting for all of us. And therefore, I had to tell poor Kevin, who had done Kevin, it was you, right?
No, I'm doing Jim Gilbert.
Oh, it's Adriana. I'm sorry, Adriana. I had to tell her that she has to change all the titles to Dr. Janella McLeod. But as I'm looking at this, the reason I brought all this up, Sabrina, is as I'm thinking about this, hold on, I'm trying to figure out where I was before I got off on this tangent here. I think I was here. As I was just thinking about this, I realized Bill Prince is a psychiatrist. So I don't know if he wants to be called Dr. Bill Prince or not, or William Prince even. So I'm going to send him an email, and I'll copy you, Sabrina. But I did something similar with a woman we interviewed whose name's Eva Ritvo. And Eva is also a psychiatrist, and she's the one who was the co-founder of the Bold Beauty Project. And so I asked her what she wanted to be called, and she said Eva Ritvo, MD, capital M, capital D. So now all her titles will be Eva Ritvo, MD1, MD2, MD3, etc. So we might have to change this with Bill, Sabrina. That's the reason I brought all this up. But it's interesting to get into this point, because I know a lot of people who have PhDs, and some of them use doctor and some of them don't. So, but I can see how it makes more sense, as Janella explained, in a professional setting where she's trying to establish her brand and her credibility for being an author about a particular topic that's part of her focus as a professor. Okay, so we were here. Oop. Oh, I know where we were. Okay, so introduction to Bill Prince. It might be Bill Prince and William. It may be William Prince MD. I'll send him an email as soon as this is over. So then you want to know what the elapsed time is for the video, and you just go back to the video and you can see down here. So it's 2 minutes and 32 seconds. So you just type in 232. And then what we're now adding is all the other credits associated with this video. So it's interview Raymond Hellman. And that'll be true for all of these, or for the most part. Video editing and production, Sabrina. Music. What's the name of your partner?
Daniel, let me get the last name.
I got it. Daniel Estrada, right? Okay, so you're going to do something like that for every one of the introduction videos. Then you guys are going to have to research what you want to write about, in this case, Bill Prince. So Sabrina, I can do it, or you can do it. I can copy you on an email to Bill and ask him what kind of bio he wants to use, okay?
Okay.
And then you can put that in there. And maybe he'll write something up about his role. And then this last sentence, videos below, I got to correct this in the template. Videos below recorded via Zoom. That explains the poor quality. I always put this in bold. Are organized by topic, comma, and run between, and this is the part that you have to fill in. I don't know the answer to this. So when you're done with creating this whole thing, you can see what the elapsed time is for each video. So you want to put, between the shortest video and the longest video. Okay, so now, I don't know why this happens, but somehow a lot of students wind up creating this, and this is where this is now the first video we're going to put in. And they wind up making the success factor not bold. And I don't know how that happens, because the template is bold. The template shows up bold, at least it does for me. So if it, for some reason, doesn't show up bold on when you paste in the template, make this bold. So Now I'm going to go to video 1 and click on edit. Go back to the playlist. Fine. Oh, so this, which one's is the fixed one the good one? Sabrina?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm
Yes.
just going to leave it as with the fixed in. We'll fix that later. We'll get the word fixed out. And then, so this one should be deleted, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just going to go with this one for now. And tell us about Christopher Jones' political activities. So I'm going to share this. Click on copy. Go back to our template. To the WordPress. Paste the new URL in here. Insert into the post. And there's Bill Prince 1. So now you go to your video log. And again, you're going to want to copy and paste the questions, not retype the questions. So you go up here, Control C or Command C. Then in the box, in the space below, where the caption box will be, Control V or Command V, paste in the question. Tell us about Christopher Jones' political activities. And then the last thing you got to do on this one video is get the correct success factor. So over here, we're saying the success factor is number 11. So you go up here to 11 is breaks the rules. You click on that. We don't want to include the number 11. All we want is breaks the rules. So you just, and that's in all caps, as you can see. You just copy, highlight it and copy it, Control C, Control V. And then highlight serendipity and paste it in. Okay. And did we change the time just now? This video is 3 minutes and 50 seconds. So we changed the time. And then, save it as often as you can. You can't publish it. You can only save it, and eventually you can send it to me for review, which there'll be, I think there's a box that you click here, but it's not, it doesn't say publish, it says something else. So I'm saving the draft. And I'm not sure, you have a lower level of permissions than I have. I'm not sure which of these things on the side you can do. Right now, this is in categories. It says uncategorized. That's not what we want. We want to use, just scroll down. These are all the different categories for the articles and videos. And what we want for now is just to click on interviews. So I'll show you something that happens. This right here, which they call permalink, is the URL that will appear in the website. And right now, you see it says uncategorized, and then it just copies the title that I have here. So when I save the draft now, because I've changed it from uncategorized to interview, you'll see that it now says interviews here. So that's part of the URL for this page once we publish it on the website. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is edit that. And instead of having the producer of the boys who said no, etc., I just wanted to say Bill Prince. Because eventually when we're sending, like if you wanted to send a URL to your friends or put it in your, put it in on your Facebook page and say, look what I just did. You don't want to have this huge URL. This URL is reasonably short. And that'll be, because we never take anything down so far, this URL will be the URL for this web page forever. Now, the other things, again, I don't know if you can do these or not. Sabrina, are you into anything? Have you gotten in yet?
I just got into the VPN and I'm going to try and log in now to the WordPress.
Okay. Let me know if you get in, because then you can start something similar. And I can come in and work with you, but you can't come in and work with me because you don't have permission to look at anything I do, but I have permission to look at everything you do. But this is an area where you put tags that might help people find it if they're doing a search in Google, a Google search or something like that. So a lot of times what I'll do is just put all the tags. I'm just going to open up a blank web page to show you. I just type all the, instead of having to do it in WordPress, I just type all the tags I can think of. So the boys who said no, Vietnam War resistor maybe. I'm putting a comma in between each one. David or Bill Prince. Could put Joan Baez because she's the most important, famous person in this movie. I'm gonna put David Harris. Judith Ehrlich is the director. What else? Put Mill Valley because that's where all these people live now. Draft card. Burn draft card. Okay, that's enough. So then I'm just going to copy all these. And paste them into the tag section. Then when I hit add, click on add, it's going to put these all up as tags. There's another one I always put in. This alerts the PR department in Miami Beach, which is a big supporter of ours. Hashtag City of Miami Beach. Okay, so that's the tags. And then the other thing is the featured image. And the featured image, you go to our website. The featured image appears in our homepage slider. So this is the featured image. And also, when you click on one of these primary navigation spaces, the featured image appears here. So this is the thing I was showing you in Facebook the other day. Not Facebook, Photoshop, where we create these montages. And we use these as the as both the in the size of 1280 by 720. We use them as the default freeze frame for the YouTube video of the introduction, and we use the same image at a slightly different size. You can see how most of these people wind up with their heads cut off. That's because I haven't adjusted the size of the freeze frame. So if it's 720 by 1280, this space is actually closer to, say, 600 pixels, the height. And but I don't mind having their heads cut off, because I think it looks more dynamic to have them kind of peering out from these frames like that. And the other thing to keep in mind is that you need to position the head of the person so that it's going to be to the left of this automatic box, text box, that's created for the homepage slider, and that contains the headline for, in this case, Tanya Bravo, and contains whatever you want to appear here. There's a section which I'll show you on the WordPress page that's called Excerpt, and that's where you put whatever you want to appear in this space. So you try and have it be something short. So the two things are this text that you're going to have here, which you put into Excerpt, and making sure that the person's face isn't underneath this text box. So you want to make sure it's to left of center. But you don't want it to be so far left that when you go to the thumbnail landing page, and on the landing page, that they're not appearing in this frame. So you got to experiment with that a little bit. And I'm not even sure this is something you could do. I just want you to be aware of it, because it may be something I have to do. But that's what goes in here. So if you go to set featured image, what it does is take you to the new media, or the media library, and you can take whatever image you want. I mean, it should be an image that you upload to the media library. So then you click on set featured image, and now it's going to put it in this space. So it'll put it in the homepage slider and in the freeze frame. In the thumbnail on the primary navigation landing page. Okay, so I'm going to save all this. Sabrina, you're gonna do all this again from scratch. Because
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I logged in to the WordPress and I see all the post pages, but I don't think I could actually edit the Bill Prince one that you are currently working on.
No, well, first of all, you can't edit it because I have it open. So if you had started one and you were working on it, I couldn't get into it, even though I have a higher level of authority than you do. So if somebody's got one of these open, nobody else can get into it. But if I was just coming into this cold and you created something, I could go in and edit it. But if I created this, you cannot go in and edit it. So an option is, do you want to try to create a I'll give you host access, and you can share your screen and try to do create a new post and we can watch you do it all together, or do you sort of get the idea and you'll do it on your own?
I think I understand how to do it.
Okay. The one other thing I want to show you guys is to be sure, and I noticed this only because we were in the media library. These are some of the students from my previous semesters. So the key point here is that I asked you guys to send me your headshot photo and your a short bio, and most of you haven't done that. This is the space that it has to fit in. So sometimes people send me full body photos, which is fine because I can go in and just edit it in Photoshop. But just be aware that what's going to actually appear is going to be just a tight headshot. So I'll give you an example of that. So it appears in the contributors section. So it's that small. So it's not like this picture is going to be the greatest picture that you've ever had in terms of exposure, but so this is where, like this is where most of the students have started. So these are all student bios. And again, I'm going to leave these up forever. So until we run out of room or until the magazine dies. And so it's in your interest to send me that photo and bio. Just to show you again, the bio doesn't have to be very long. Like in this case, he's got 2 sentences. And Julio, I think in the last semester, I think he worked on something like 5 video interviews. But these were all people from my last, or up until Bria Jones. So send those in when you get a chance. I think that's go. No, I want to show you one other thing. So, so back to all the posts. And let me show you a different one here. Okay. So this is Rosie Gordon Wallace, A Force of Nature. And again, when you're putting together these bios, if you want to emphasize anything, just highlight it and make it bold. In the case of Rosie, we had a video of a art exhibition that we put in here. So some of you may have video trailers from movies that you want to put in. But what I want to show you is down at the bottom here. This is where the excerpt goes, at the very bottom. And this is what's going to appear on the homepage in the slider. So what you want to try and do is get something that's short and makes a big statement about the person. I always put the person's name in all caps, so it'll show up better on the home page. And that statement there usually just comes from something that we already have. So in her case, I can see there's a space here that shouldn't be here. So I just updated the web page. So I might have just copied the first 2 sentences and pasted those down in the excerpt. One other thing, in the template, where's that template? Yeah, in this template that has all the code in it, down in the bottom, I have codes that we use for specific purposes. In this case, where it says code for JGH, this code sets up these access to curated video interviews that we've been using with nonprofit organizations. So what this code does, well, should I show you this? Let me go back to see which one this is. Okay, so if I go down to this section here, where it says Royal Custom CSS, this first group is essential, and it is in all our posts, because otherwise there's something screwy that happens when we publish, and it winds up putting in duplicate photos up at the top of the page. So we have, this one has to be in every one. And this is the same code that's in the template. Right here, code for feature image. This is the URL for getting the login to WordPress. So you may need that to get to the page if you haven't figured out how to do it. Sabrina, I assume that did you just click on the login that came with the password that was sent to you?
Yes.
Okay. So as you guys are ready to start posting to WordPress, I will register you as associate editors for InSpeecho, and I will send you a WordPress email, or an email from WordPress, that will include a link to log into WordPress and a password that you use the first time, and then later you can change the password to something you can remember, because the password's like a really strong password that you can't keep in your memory. So again, these codes are only relevant to if we're curating special things for a nonprofit organization, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. I think I showed you this before, but one of the organizations that we're working with is called Jewish General Hospital Auxiliary. And we're now into our 4th month of working with them. And when we, so here's the 4. So this is a new one that we just put up. And the only change in the text each month is when we're going to take it down. And then these are the selections they made of videos video interviews from Inspeecho that they're going to share with their thousands of members. And what you should notice is that code that I said that we pasted in at the bottom that was just for these nonprofits. Number one, it gets rid of the primary navigation, which was literary arts, performing arts, visual arts. And because before they were able to click on that and they could get to the regular website. And the whole idea is to not give them access to our entire website, but to say, here's 5 interviews we think you'll like, look at those. And when you're ready for the next 5, you can click on those. And the other thing that happens is when you go over our logo or the FIU logo, you can see that they're not hyperlinked. Whereas if we went to, I just realized these are up there too. Oh. Gotta get rid of those too. Sorry. If we go to, we go back to our website, these are all hyperlinked. If you click on the logo, of course, it's going to take you to the home page. So that's what those codes are for. All right, I'm going to stop sharing, stop this recording.